What's up everyone, this is the Godfather Dictator, back with Chapter 11, No Damage on Master Ninja using the equipment and the costume. So there's one thing though that I want to mention because I used it earlier and I realized, no joke, that after doing that playthrough, I literally slept on that shit like the entire time except one time, is that when you're doing what I'm doing here, guys, use the Holy Gauntlet. Like, if you're gonna do any sorts of farming, use the Holy Gauntlet. And I use it to grab the chest, but if I had used it in those area here and previously, I could have had the UF, the Dabilaro level, and all of that without worrying about any of it. It's just like I literally slept on the item, no joke, because I think, you know, when you have that helmet, you just do so much damage that you forget about everything else. But it's still there, so I just wanted to mention it. If you're gonna do any sort of farming using the equipment, make sure you use the Holy Gauntlet. So now I'm doing like a it's not even farming here, you know, I'm just doing the extra fight because I'm gonna go buy some explosive arrow right away. It's just better, I think, to have them early in the next section, and then after that well, after that, you know, we're gonna continue the fight regularly, pretty much. So here, I'm gonna go to the shop to Muramasa. I cannot level up the Dabi just yet, so I will buy some explosive arrow and the APFS DS. Try to say it fast, bunch of time in a row. I'm not gonna do that right now. But yeah, the anti-piercing arrow, something like that, or anti-tank piercing arrow. I don't know, dude, what they stand for, to be honest. Don't really care for it. They do a lot of damage. They're good arrows, so, so we fill them up. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the same technique that I showed in my regular playthrough, except the only difference is that I will not kill all the enemy because for some reason, instead of, you know, just raw charging from the beginning of that fight, I somehow roll jump or do something different, which means I don't kill all of them instantly. If you want to do the time limit here, just pretty much charge as soon as the fight starts. Don't do like I do here. Well, no, actually I did charge. Never mind, I just did not hit him. Oh, okay, never mind. I was wrong about this. Then take back what I said. You know, my mistake. And I mean, it's right there in my face, so I cannot really argue about this. So no, I raw charge and I still did not kill all of them at first. I think I know that, never mind, I know what I did wrong there. I just thought about it. Is that I turned the camera towards them instead of leaving the camera off. That's pretty much what I did. That was my mistake. If I had done it properly, I wouldn't have got hit there. Be careful of that gunner here, because you can kind of, you know, use the direction here to cheese him, but it's very easy to get hit by those turrets, so be careful. So now, what I'm going to do for this fight is I'm going to stay in front of the truck at first, but then eventually I'm going to, you know, I'm going to do exactly what I did the other truck, you know, as you want to dispatch the enemy as they appear, pretty much. So here, I throw smoke bomb. I'm waiting that this guy goes for it, and then I'm gonna use the Dabil arrow here, and as soon as I get multi-kill, we're gonna be switching to the UF, and then we're gonna start charging until we dispatch all those enemies, because they come in pair. So I think there's 16 total, if I recall, or maybe 14. It does depend. I think some encounter sometimes have less enemy and some a little more, and there's some RNG in there. But I think, yeah, there we go. I thought it was 16, so it's 14. And we're not going to go save right away, because I'm going to go back for the Scarab. By the way, I did not forget any of that. But we're going to clear the entire warehouse right away. And because even if we do the shortcut right away to technically skip the little drones, we're not going to do it, because you don't really skip the drone. You delay the spawn of them, and then we do that in a speed run. But you still technically have to do the fight, you know, I mean, for completion's sake. So in that case, I trigger it by, you know, going up the stairs regularly, and I shoot like 1 or 2 drones by jump shooting. And after that, I'm gonna refill those arrows, and then I'm gonna go at the end of the warehouse here near the big door, and I'm gonna pretty much shoot all of them here. Why I go this far is because it takes them a long time to, well, to, you know, for them to pat their way towards you, if that makes sense. You know, they have to come towards you, and they're so high in the air that they have to come lower, and then they have to do like that old travel animation thing. So here you're pretty much safe, and there's roughly, if I recall, there's around 20 of the drone, maybe a little, maybe 21, maybe a little less, 19. I don't recall the exact number. I don't really focus on that stuff, to be fair. But as you can see here, very easy to dispatch all of them. Once we run out of those arrows, that's why we picked up the other arrow, the anti-pursing whatever arrow. And then we're gonna finish the leftover of the drone here, and I think it's 20. So there you go, there was 20 total. Now, once we get rid of all of them, we're still gonna use the shortcut because we don't want to activate the power on top with the platform. Not that we don't want to, it's just that we don't care. You know, we can bypass the shortcut right here. This is also a classic shortcut in the speedrun. It's pretty tricky to do when you don't know how, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to do. For most of the time, I mean, it's easy to miss, but I think once you get the hang of it, it's impossible to miss more than, we'll say, 5 times in a row, if you really got the hang of it, you know? Because if you miss it, it's because you don't really got the hang of it. So now I got the extra scarab, I got the one on the wagon, I got the one on top of that little cabin here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go refill the explosive arrow outside from the box, because we don't need to refill the anti-pursing arrow just yet. We're gonna refill them after the thing anyway. We need those for the next section, so that's where I go all the way back, and that's why I said I did not forget the scarab. Because the other fight right after the drone is kind of annoying, and even though it's in like just one encounter, it's an encounter that's super easy to get it on, so that's why I cleared this entire section, because I'd rather do what I did there combined with the drone and then go back to save, and after I have to do one encounter, then clear, you know, the truck part, and after leave the drone, and then I have to either do the drone separate, come back to a save, or do the drone and try to do the fight after, which is high risk. So I prefer doing it like that because I think it's way more manageable to clear the first fight and then do the drone. It's not because the drone are particularly hard, but it's the repeating of having to shoot them every time. It's just simply boring. It's not, I cannot say that it's a fight that is entertaining by any means, you know. So basically, once you clear that, I go back to save, and no, there's no like little turret that appear on top of the truck. In NGB, that thing respawn, and you kind of have to get rid of it because it shoots, you know, like a machine gun, and it's very easy. It's very easy to get hit by it, so you have to clear it. This encounter here on normal is actually pretty fun because you can pretty much stay at the initial position you're in and just shoot, you know, the enemy as they spawn in here. But because they're a little tougher on that difficulty, even though now that we have equipment, you know, it's obviously gonna be doing more damage, so we'll kill them one shot. But otherwise, like, you can't really always do that. It will not always work. So here, what I'm gonna do is I'm pretty much gonna be using that side, and I'm gonna pretty much dispatch non-stop. If you can stop potatoing, and I'm gonna dispatch that side until the enemy run out, because as you can see now, they will come back and forth from both sides, and it's really easy to deal with once you get a proper spawn in, you know. But sometimes where they spawn and all, it's not as fluid as this, and then you have to move a little more around for it. But now that I got this exact setup here, I was really happy, because I think there's actually 17 enemy maybe total in here or something like that. Oh no, you see there's 16, so they all funneled through me. So I thought there was one more, but there's only 16. So that fight went fairly well, all things considered. Now, something that I want to mention about the tank coming up, because that part, you know, that chapter, for those that don't know, on the regular run, I wasn't sure on this version that I would be able to do it because of the shitty aim mode, you know, that is separate from the free aim, and I've mentioned that a couple of times. It's still crap. But somehow, with equipment, I managed to do the tank first shot. Like, I was actually pretty surprised at like how easy I made it seem, but it's definitely not easy. And then even the chopper after took me 2 tries, so it was pretty crazy how fast I went through. How fast I went through those encounters. No joke, I expected to stay there for a while, but this here is my first encounter with the tank on Master Ninja. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little bit of back and forth, and then I'm gonna try to get rid of the gunner on top, which I managed to do first shot. And now that's where you'll see how much damage we're doing once again with the arrow because of equipment. So we're gonna start shooting on top to make sure the gunner doesn't respawn. But look at the damage. And that's pretty much the speed at what you can kill the tank on normal. It's even a little slower, I would say, on normal. But just to give you an idea on how crazy it is. So going back, explosive arrow, we're gonna go at the end like this to make sure that we don't get hit by the gunner. And then I'm gonna continue dodging like this until he stops the second time. And then we'll wait that we pretty much dispatch him. Once we dispatch the gunner on top, we're safe to go back behind the box, and then we can just start, you know, shooting nonstop the part of the tank that has the cannon and where the machine gun dude would spawn from. But there it is, super quick, decimated the tank. Yeah, that fight was really clean. I don't have much to say about this. So I refill those arrow here, even though I didn't really need to, because there's a refill on top, and I'm still gonna kill, you know, the 2 rocket. And what I do here is, well, it's not a huge tactical decision, but I prefer to save before killing the rocket, mainly because even if you kill them first, they're always gonna respawn. So once you know that, it's better to just save and then clear them after anyway, because you're always gonna have to do it. So what's the point of clearing them one time and then another time after because you decided to do it early? There's no point. So chopper will be the same thing, it's just it's gonna go much faster and it's gonna be similar to a normal pattern. If it doesn't go though under the bridge, it will obviously take a little longer because of that, you know, so you have to be ready for this. But when he goes under the bridge, it's pretty much like a normal pattern. You see here, I'm gonna aim, and then I'll wait because of the machine gun. Then we roll through the box because of the missile, and boom, it is done already. Second try. And then the next section, I'm not gonna end it when the chapter ends because I do an extra fight in the next chapter. Because for those that don't know how this chapter ends here, so we have one save here, and then after the next save will be after the second encounter, sorry, in the aqueduct chapter. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna head to the top. We're gonna destroy the radio tower. I have a really easy strat, by the way, that you can use for the radio tower here. You'll see what I mean. It's the same strat that I use in the normal run. Is you can go to the left right at the start if you're facing the tower, and then you can go hide behind that cover here, and that will trigger those enemies, you know, to rush towards you, and then you can pretty much dispatch them one at a time. And after you know that there's 15 total, because there's 5 enemies, sorry, total, not 15, what am I saying? You can straight up start shooting the radio tower as soon as you dispatch the 5th enemy. And if you're quick enough with your aiming, you're able to destroy the entire tower. I'm sorry, I cannot speak English today. The entire tower before the rockets start shooting at you. So it's pretty cool trick. Now here you can jump and shoot right away to dispatch the first drone. There's 4 drones total, 2 close and then 2 a little further back. And after we kill the next 2, we're gonna head to the door as fast as we can, do a forward roll and charge for a UT. And this part here is free at the end because of that. You'll see what I mean. So I get those 3 kills here, keep the essence, open the door, go all the way down, then trigger the elevator, and then when we'll go into the door, I'm gonna roll sideways into the corner. If you want, from where we entered the door here to the right, as soon as we enter, I'm gonna roll it, and then boom, I'm gonna charge, and then we're gonna keep the essence again of those guys to go clear the last fight. So that's why I say that section, once you clear the drone, it's pretty much free if you have the Dabil arrow, because it's a single roll towards the enemy, and then after you pretty much kill all of them with the impact of the Dabil arrow. So those 3 encounter here are free. So here I roll, charge, and then boom, kill all three of them. You can grab the essence because you clear the fight down there anyway, so there will not be any respawning enemies. And then after this, you can end the chapter. Now, one thing that I want to mention about this, because I didn't notice it the first time I did my playthrough here, but it does happen, is that you know how the beginning of that next chapter, on normal mode in Ninja Gaiden Black, only on normal mode, you will have a certain wait time there, and there's not much you can do. You know, you will stay around and you have to wait that the fiend come out of the manhole to finally go in the aquatic after, you know. But on all the other difficulty after, there's zero wait time. You get into the zone and then boom, the fight triggers and you can go in it. Funny enough, in this one, they cut the amount of time that you wait. So on normal, you still wait, but not as long. You don't wait on hard, you don't wait on very hard, but then you wait a little bit on Master Ninja. And I didn't notice that, but here it is actually. Me, you know, I have to wait that fight will spawn. And I'm not sure why it's like that also on Master Ninja. It's not that it's a very long time or anything, you know. It's more on why there's none of that on hard and very hard, but in this one you have it on Master Ninja. It's hard to understand. So as soon as the fight starts, because of how much damage we do, and even I think without that we would still kill it, but we're using an explosive arrow to dispatch one of them, and then we're going to use the essence to UT the two other ones. Now we're going to switch to the Vigor and Flail, and that's why I do an extra fight here. You'll understand why. Last time I didn't do that. And it's not that it makes the other fight way harder if you don't. That's not it at all. It's just it makes it way easier if you do it the way I'm doing it right now. So as soon as that chapter starts, you dispatch the bat, but then instead of going to save, you use the essence of those bats to UT with the UF. And because you have equipment, and usually even without equipment, UF will one-shot pretty much everything in that room. Well, you're just clearing everything faster compared to the other strategy that I was doing, where I enter the room and then I drop a smoke bomb, I charge. It works, but I prefer this one. You know, I think it's just way faster, and there's 8 enemy total in that room, and as you can see, there's 1 left, and now the fight is already done, and that's why I wanted to use the essence from the bat to start that chapter. So I hope you enjoyed, as usual, and hopefully I will catch up on that same chapter that we're on next time, but the continuation. Take care, everyone. Peace out.